Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Brookfield. My name is Marty Flannan, and I'm the chairman of the Republican Party here in Brookfield. The Brookfield Republican Town Committee is pleased to hosting this 5th congressional debate, and what an exciting event it will be. Tonight we will have the pleasure of getting to know each of these excellent candidates. Tonight's debate will be 4 candidates vying for our party's nomination in the August 14th primary. Among them are State Senator Andrew Rohrabaugh, Justin Bernier, Mark Greenberg, and Lisa Wilson Foley. But first, let me introduce our panelists. Dirk Parafor of the Danbury News-Times, Jillian Morrow of WLAD Radio in Danbury, Matt DiRenzo of the Torrington Registered Citizen, and Aaron Boyd of the Brookfield Patch. Before we begin, I'd encourage all of you to patronize our concession stand out in the lobby, where you can find these Obama playing cards, which every good Republican card game cannot do without. Also, please consider coming back to Brookfield this coming Sunday, August 5th at 7 p.m. to attend our summer social at Golf Quest Family Sports Center. All U.S. Senate and 5th District candidates will be in attendance, and that's another opportunity for all of you to meet them and ask direct questions in an informal setting. The Brookfield Republican Town Committee looks forward to seeing you then. We're looking forward to a great debate tonight, so it's my personal pleasure to introduce our moderator, Brookfield's greatest town attorney and former Speaker of the Connecticut House of Representatives, Francis J. Collins.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone. I would like to say, the first statement will be by Lisa Wilson Foley.
Good evening, and thank you for attending. I'd like to thank the Brookfield Republican Town Committee especially for putting on this debate, and a warm special thank you to you, Speaker Collins, for your length of service and for moderating tonight. You know, 2012, this election is going to be one of the most important elections of our lifetimes. Our country is at a crossroads, and we are in a battle for the vision of the future of our country. My vision was formed where I grew up, in a small mill town of Unionville, Connecticut. I grew up in a church-sponsored housing, a small apartment with my 4 siblings and my parents. My mom was a breadwinner and a caretaker. She was working 2 jobs to keep our family intact. My dad was in and out of the hospital, and he passed when we were young. We didn't have much, but we had a warm community and a great church. And my siblings and I knew that if we worked really hard and got a good education, that anything was possible in America. When I was 29, I started my first company. It was in the physical therapy business, and I benefited from what we seemed to be losing, and that is the opportunity to pursue the American dream. We need to make sure that our country stays open and available so that entrepreneurs can continue to pursue that dream. As a mother, I am fearful for the future of my children. As a business owner, I am so fed up with federal regulations and the federal government putting onus regulations on the backs of small businesses. And a healthcare provider, I know we need healthcare reform, but not the unaffordable healthcare reform that Obama has put in place. I believe America is the land of opportunity, and if I'm elected to Congress, I will make sure I keep it that way. Thank you so much.
Next candidate will be Mark Greenberg. Mark. No, you're first on the second on the Last on the list.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We really appreciate your participation in the system. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. This is the greatest country on this earth, and it has been the greatest country on this earth for 230 years. I believe in American exceptionalism. I'm running for Congress to ensure that American exceptionalism continues for the future generations. I am very, very nervous that this next generation will not have the same benefits than my generation, that there won't be the same benefits, that there won't be the same opportunity. We talk about 40% deficits. We talk about $16 trillion of debt. We talk about a Congress that has raised dysfunction to an art form. We talk about Congress that is in D.C. for one purpose alone, and that is to further their own goals, for the perks and benefits, and not for you. I'm running for Congress to change that and bring back the America that I think is great and that's wonderful. There's one statement that we've always believed in as young people, that the next generation, that our children, will live a better life and have greater opportunity than we did. And I'm very fearful that my young children will not live that dream. That's why I want your support. That's why we have to change the way things are done in Congress. Thank you very, very much for being here and participating in this tremendous change of getting back our country. Thank you, everybody.
Next speaker will be Andrew Waterbank. Senator.
Thank you, and good evening, one and all. Thank you for being here and participating in this important discussion about the future of our country. Our country was built on individuals through their families and communities. It was built from the people up, not from the government down. So said Jack Kemp, and truer words have never been spoken. If there is one thing that I have learned in the 18 magnificent years I've had representing the people of Western Connecticut in the Connecticut General Assembly, it's that the power of our great state and our nation and all of the potential that we together have rests not with the government, but with we, the people. The stakes in the election of 2012 could not be higher. As a state representative and as a state senator, I've had the incredible privilege of serving our party and the people and communities of this region, always standing up for Republican principles of lower taxes, smaller government, personal responsibility. I've tried to make the most of the offices I've held, not for myself, but for the people I have the privilege of representing. The entire time that I've served as a legislator, I've held a full-time job in my family business. I'm the fourth generation of my family to work in a family business started by my great-grandfather in 1883. So I well understand the pressures of meeting payroll, paying taxes, dealing with crippling regulations, and an ever-growing government that is more and more intrusive. This seat has not been open since 1982. In that year, after a spirited primary, Republican-endorsed candidate Nancy Johnson went on to beat Liberal Democrat Bill Curry and win this seat. You, the voter, will and should have the last word in choosing our candidate. Tonight, I am setting out to prove that I have the skills, the experience, the relationships, and the capacity both to win this election for our party in November and then to serve this district in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for being here. I look forward to this conversation.
And last but certainly not least, Justin Bernier.
I want to thank the Brookfield RTC. Marty, thanks for putting this on. And where's Matt Grimes? Matt Grimes, thank you very much for putting all this together. I know it's not easy. Two more important people I want to thank my wife Jenny and my mother in the back with my 3-month-old daughter Annabelle, who are here tonight with us. So thank you, ladies, for coming out. I'm Justin Burnett. I'm running for U.S. Congress. And I'm running for Congress for the same reason I joined the military after 9/11, because I believe this country is in grave danger and we need to do something about it. I've talked about this timepiece, my watch, on the campaign trail. And what I've talked about is a sense of urgency that you see with the troops in Afghanistan and in Iraq. I served in Afghanistan. I can tell you, everyone there has a watch, because seconds, minutes, certainly hours can be the difference between life and death, between a mission going correct, one being successful, and one being a failure. Well, you come back to Hartford, you come back to Washington, D.C., and no one's checking their watches. There isn't the same sense of urgency. But I can tell you today that the voters have the sense of urgency. They have a sense of urgency about spending, about jobs, job creation, about energy, about health care, about all the big issues that are facing this country today. And we have to, as a party, tap into that sense of urgency. And I believe the only way we're going to do that is by showing distance, daylight between us and the Democrats. You have a choice in this election. Every election is about choices. In this one, you have a choice. Are you going to vote for a liberal, or are you going to nominate a conservative to represent our party in November? I believe that the only way we're going to get the American people excited, the people in Western Connecticut excited about this race to support the Republican Party, is if we stand by those conservative principles. Without those principles, if we throw in the towel on them, then we don't have a party, we don't have a moral standing in this race, and we won't be successful. So I ask for your support. I ask for you to support conservative candidates in November. Thank you.